We begin with the raging controversy over President Bola Tinubu's appointments into the board of the newly established North Central Development Commission, NCDC. Groups in Plateau State and FCT are rejecting President Bola Tinubu's appointees into the newly established NCDC, describing it as politically motivated and lacking broad-based support. A concerned Plateau Youth Forum group has rejected the nomination of a former Accountant General of the state, Cyril Senye, as the managing director of the newly established NCDC. Now, in a statement, spokesperson of the group, Danladi Palm, urged President Bola Tinubu to immediately withdraw the nomination, alleging that Senye's appointment is politically influenced and does not reflect the collective interests of the people of Plateau State. And in Abuja, some indigenous youths too of the Federal Capital Territory have rejected the nomination of Solomon Adodo as representatives for the people of the FCT in the board for the newly constituted NCDC. Now, the FCT youth stakeholders say the appointee, Solomon Adodo, is from Benue State and not from the FCT and should not be used to deny the people of their rights to be represented in the commission. And of course, we've also seen controversy trailing the appointments, with the North Central People's Forum also having issues with the appointment and saying that they want a review of the appointment as it does not fully represent all the political segments of the Middle Belt or North Central region. Well, to help us dissect the controversy in the NCDC board, we have joining us in the studio the Secretary General of the North Central People's Forum, Bolaji Khalil. Thank you for joining us. And also here with us is the Chairman of the FCT Stakeholders Assembly, Dr. Daniel Aliyu Baka. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah, and so let's start with you, Bolaji Khalil. Talk to us about these issues and why the North Central seems to be having issues with this appointment.
Well, first of all, we thank Mr. President for signing and putting together the team to run the North Central Development Commission. Our take in this is simple. We have Upper North Central and Lower North Central. Upper North Central comprises of Benue, Plateau, and Nasarawa. Lower is Kogi, Kwara, and Niger, and FCT. That's the lower. Usually, we balance things, but in this respect, in fact, some people they have started calling it Benue Plateau Commission.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, yes. The reason people are saying that is simple. The MD is from Benue. The chairman is from Benue. The MD is from Plateau. And the headquarters is in Nasarawa. Leaving the lower North Central alone. Usually, agreed. The Act says it's rotational, the chairmanship. And it has to start from Benue. That's the Act that established it. Fine. We are expecting the MD to go to the lower North Central, which is between Kogi, Kwara, and Niger, and or FCT. So, but this did not happen. We believe it's one-sided, and we believe it's done in an error. We believe it's not intentional. Wow. So we are asking for. I think President Tinubu lost balancing. That much I know. And I think this should be.
All right, and I'll bring you in, Dr. Baka. Let's talk about some of the challenges you have with this list that was released. I mean, just like other zones, we haven't seen so much, but when you go to the turn of the North Central, there have been lots of issues here and there.
Well, let me join my colleague in thanking Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for a lot of things that he has done for us in the FCT. He's been first in several areas. First, to appoint an FCT indigene as a minister, a member of his cabinet. And again, we are happy he's appointed Barrister Nyesom Wike as the minister of the FCT. He's doing a lot of work in the FCT. We thank Mr. President for that. And he also approved the establishment of the FCT Civil Service Commission. For that, we are very grateful. We also want to thank Mr. President for approving the establishment of the North Central Development Commission. But in the implementation of the Act, we notice a lot of discrepancies as it concerns, as it pertains to the FCT. Number one, we realize that all the representative states have at least 2 members in the board. There is executive director, and then there is a member, a director. For us in the FCT, we realized we are just given one slot. We don't have any slot for executive director, and even the slot that was given to us as a member was filled by an indigene of Benue State. So it means that the FCT is not represented in the North Central Development Commission. We see that as quite abnormal, very, very abnormal. And like my colleague said, probably an error somewhere. And we are calling on Mr. President to correct it, because the FCT has been recognized. Of course, there are several judicial pronouncements. The Constitution recognizes the FCT as a state. And this act has recognized the FCT as a member, and so the FCT should be represented by a native of the FCT. That is our argument.
All right, and Bolaji, let's talk about the NCDC itself. The clearinghouse for all of this in terms of advice is the Office of the Secretary General to the Secretary of Government of the Federation. And I don't know if you've been able to actually make a presentation to the Office of the SGF, because coincidentally, the SGF actually comes from the North Central, Senator George Akume. Have you as an association been able to actually seek his views on this particular issue?
Well, yesterday we made a press release, and we have written our governors, the 6 of them, plus SGF, plus the National Assembly, and the presidency on this matter. We released it yesterday, and I'm sure by Monday they will all receive this, because we're just asking for equity and justice. That's all we're asking for, after commending the president for recognizing that we need this developmental institution to be in place. So all of them have been written, yes, and I believe very much they will look into it and correct where they need to. Again, we believe that each of the states should have executive director. Even if the act is not, I'm sure, you see, knowledge is coming up all the time. So if each of the states will have executive director and non-executive director as in the board, then that will be very, very, very fine, because that's what we're part of what we're recommending to the government.
And let's talk about how the North Central itself has been agitating for this commission over the years. I know that we've had this conversation here over the years, and you talk about it and all of that.
I think a year ago or so.
Yes, and I mean, the president seems to have fulfilled his own part of the bargain. But let's talk about how important this commission is, and of course, what sort of leverage this new agency will be bringing to, the issues of development in the North Central region.
Well, the North Central People's Forum, we're very glad with Mr. President, because for the past 5 years, we've been agitating for this. Our late chairman, General Seni, was in the 8th Assembly, and he started, with the bill before he left the 8th Assembly. And after that, we've been to all the state governors of North Central, telling them to please support and beg Mr. President to support this, which we thank God our governors have been very wonderful in doing this. And of course, our National Assembly members. So the agitation has been on for a long time, and we believe very much that the development of North Central will take a new dimension now, because with that, all the states and FCT represented, that's why we're agitating. All the states plus Abuja, the 6 states plus Abuja, should be represented, so that they will be able to see what is coming to their state, and support it and go back to their government, the governors, to say, look, this is what is happening, where the governor needs to support more. All this, I believe in the next 1 year, a lot of development will happen.
Okay, and the issues of consultation when forming these sort of boards, I mean, you can't just overemphasize on that. So, Dr. Baka, let's talk about the FCT. I mean, I don't know if indeed there was any sort of consultation in terms, like other governors were consulted, and we hear that some of the governors had critical roles to play in actually bringing some of these appointees into such boards. Was FCT in any way ever consulted?
Thank you very much. You know, with the other states in the Federation, and that goes for the North Central geopolitical zone, they have governors who meet, they have a forum. But for us, you know, the FCT is a unique place. It's unfortunate we don't have a governor. The Constitution recognizes Mr. President as our governor, but as you know, Mr. President is saddled with so many issues, national and international, and so he really cannot perform the role of a governor effectively as he should. And that's why, you know, we've been advocating for a situation where the FCT, having been recognized in the Constitution and having been recognized by the judiciary as a state, that
the
Mr. President
says it's only when it comes to political matters that the FCT is
Mr. President should be relieved of that burden of you know, performing the role of a governor for, and that's why he appointed the minister to stay in his place. But you agree with me that the minister does not attend meetings where governors are, and the minister may not have been consulted in this matter in the appointment of the board members of the North Central Development Commission. So
could the inclusion of FCT have been an afterthought, and maybe that's why someone was, you know, just brought in from somewhere else?
Well, yeah, it was. Well, it's unfortunate that it was an afterthought because it shouldn't have been. But having been accepted as part of this commission in the appointment of the members of the board, FCT should not have been ignored at all, as the case is. You know, the development commissions have been established not only for North Central geopolitical zone, but for all the 6 geopolitical zones. And that is because Mr. President, in his wisdom, has realized that each geopolitical zone has unique challenges and unique opportunities that need to be exploited by the people that reside therein. So the North Central geopolitical zone has a lot of opportunity, a lot of resources, a lot of challenges that together we can put our heads together and solve. Let me give one example: security. Security issues are best solved at the grassroots, and the North Central Development Commission and other commissions are in a better position to collaborate among themselves to solve the problem of security and agriculture and so many other issues.
All right, and of course you touched on securities. That's one of the critical issues actually we have in the North Central. You've seen Benue State actually facing this issue, and the Niger State, though that of the FCT has been contained, Kogi too has been able to tame insecurity to some extent. With these development commissions, there been you know, some criticism that it looks like it's a job for the boys. How do you think that groups like yours could actually make these commissions to function properly and attend to these issues? Like, for example, Benue State, this issue of insecurity has been on over and over. Could this federal agency be able to actually, you know, create a difference, make a difference in terms of resolving the issues of insecurity?
I believe the NCDC will go a long way in the sense that it will give the governors opportunity, and the commission, by the time they take off, I'm sure security, agriculture will be, you know very well that Niger, Plateau, and Benue, they are the critical 3 states that are having problem in North Central. And I know it's going to be, I believe, it will be one of the agenda, because where there's no peace, there's no development. If you want to have infrastructure in terms of road, agri development, whatever, if there is no, for instance, you know, the food basket, which is Benue, is suffering very, very, very seriously now, because, so I know when the commission takes off, they will take all of, and of course our forum, we have an input which we have packaged to give them, you know, based on our
experience. In terms of priority areas.
Exactly. Oh, okay. You know, we have packaged that, which when they are taken off, we'll give them as a direction which they can consider along others that they may feel that is very necessary for them to do that.
And one other areas that I think a lot of Nigerians keep missing is that when it comes to the North Central, some of the biggest hydropower dams are located in this region of the country. Could this development commission, have a role to play in terms of the issues of these dams and, of course, the contribution of the North Central to the economy of the country?
Well, I believe so. You know, without North Central, no Nigeria. That is the truth.
Well,
A lot of
people will disagree.
No, well, you see, you cannot move to the north without passing North Central. You know that? You cannot pass to the south without North Central. River Niger and Benue is situated here in North Central. And you see, unfortunately, we have not been recognized based on our input to the development of this country.
Isn't that the reason why the president is establishing a development commission?
All the zones are having. It's not just us.
Well, I mean, yeah.
So, it's common to all. But what I'm saying is that when you go back on history, you will discover that even during the military, the soldiers that fought, 60% are from North Central. The records are there. We have fought to put this country together. That's a fact. I'm not exaggerating anything. And we believe we deserve more than even what we are getting now. The truth of the matter is that we did 4 years ago, we carried out a study. One of the states in the northeast, the board, the people, the chief executive of parastatals, federal parastatals, in Bauchi is more than the whole of North Central put together.
In terms of federal appointments?
Oh yeah, no, I'm not talking of MD of boards or MD of parastatals. Just to come a little bit, that is very easy to know. So, if one state in Northeast have more number than what we have 6 states plus Abuja together, this is what we have been talking about. Let the federal government do the statistics, then they will see how, we are not being positioned as we should. FCT is part of us.
And then that brings me also to the issue I had asked him earlier, the issues of consultation. How much of consultation do you think was made in terms of disappointments that have been made recently to this board?
As long as the people that, like me, I'm from Kwara. I'm not contesting even the people that are appointed from Kwara. They are known people, they are part of us, our sister and brother, respectively. But what is important is, it is this commission now is closer to the people. They will now, for instance, from FCT, they will consult you people before allocating whatever or putting anything anywhere. Same for Kwara, same for every other place. So that is when the consultation will come. But on the appointment, well, we leave that to government in their wisdom, because it's their job. We are not contesting that.
And Dr. Baka, let's talk about the issues of consultation for this appointment again. I mean, people will say that the president it's a federal agency, so the president has a right to, get people from different places, and that the issues of FCT has always been controversial, and other Nigerians can be brought in to take other appointments because the nature of FCT is to bring people, from different parts of the country to be united. Wouldn't the president be right in, picking someone from anywhere? He feels like concerning that of the FCT.
No, I would say that would not be right, because every other person except the native of the FCT has his own state. Now, we are talking of representative appointment. We have representatives from Benue, we have representatives from Plateau, we have representatives from other states within the North Central. And so, how would it look if now you're appointing a representative from the FCT and you appoint another person from Benue State, like it's been done in this case? Now, if you check the list, you find that Benue has 4 members on the board. Benue has the managing director of the North Central Development Commission. They have an executive director. They have a member. And then the slot that should be given to the FCT has been given to Benue. So Benue has 4, and the FCT has 0. It doesn't make for democratic representation. We are in a democracy. Even in the military era, this thing couldn't have been done.
Yeah, and how have you tackled that? Have you been able to reach out to Mr. President or the SGF? Who's from this region coincidentally? Well, what have you done to actually express some of the
We have reached out to the SGF. We have reached out to the Senate President. We have reached out to Mr. President through our representative in the Federal Executive Council, that's Honorable Zephaniah Gisalo. And he received us very well, and he's also as concerned as us. We're in fact more concerned because he is the one sitting in the Federal Executive Council. He is the one representing us. And so he's taking it personal. And he's led us to the SGF and other people who are concerned. And we believe that this error is a monumental error that will be corrected.
And some people will argue, I mean, shouldn't residents, people who are residing here, also have the opportunity to represent the FCT as long as the people are properly represented?
Well, we are talking of the Constitution, we are talking of statutory issues. There are statutory issues that categorically states that it should be a native of the FCT that should be represented. Let me give you an example. There are some federal executive bodies like the National Population Commission, like the Revenue Mobilization Commission, like the Federal Character Commission. I mean, these things are very clear in the Constitution.
Yeah, I mean, you were a former commissioner
yes,
in one of them.
That it should be a native and indigene of the state that should be representing the state. So you cannot take someone from another state to represent. I mean, that's not democratic.
Okay, very interesting perspective. Yes. And then I bring you in, Bolaji. Let's talk about the potentials of the region in supporting the APC-led federal government. In terms of politics that you talked about earlier on, you had claimed that the North Central is being neglected, and people will argue with that when it comes to the politics of Nigeria. That, I mean, just like the Southwest region, you have produced 2 former military heads of state. I mean, General Ibrahim Babangida is there, Abdusalami Abubakar is there. Not so many regions are actually fortunate to have that.
No, you see, you don't count military as part of the
well,
equation.
But I mean, they've held executive powers.
Well, in fact, I don't recognize them, and a lot of people don't recognize that. We know, you see, because we didn't bring them in, we brought President Bola Tinubu in as our president, so we can talk to him. We can't talk to military because he says, what's the problem?
But well, in the final analysis, they say you can't remove them out of the equation. In terms
well,
of
in history, you just put them in history. Historically, yes, they'll be there. But if you look at North Central, 6 out of 7 is APC. I'm counting FCT as part of. Only one state, which is Plateau, that is in the other state. Even that, National Assembly, APC dominated, so it's half and half. What I'm trying to say is that if you look at the votes that comes from North Central, please, not just 2023, previous elections, even we beat Southwest flat. Go and check it. The records are there. So if we are part of the regions or zones that voted President Bola Tinubu so willingly, then the position to Southwest, in fact, we should have more than them. That is the truth. But you see, people don't just go by that. Another election is coming. I believe the president is aware that he needs us.
Well, the SGF is in your hands. I mean, how much?
Well,
in terms of politics, you know how powerful the office of
president
is.
Because the SGF is under the presidency. So the president, Nigerian president is the most powerful president in the whole world. That's the truth. So, and SGF wasn't elected, he's appointed. So for me, we are addressing Mr. President to be just and fair to us.
And I bring you in, Dr. Baka.
Yes.
What's your own contribution on that issue? I mean, it's an ongoing conversation. I mean, this region, yes, there's this development commission that's been brought in to help and all of that, but I mean, he's asking for more. What exactly would you say, stands the region out from all others, including the development commissions that have been put in place?
Well, he's mentioned the number of votes that we gave Mr. President in 2023, which is a very important factor in a democracy. And this region has a lot of resources, apart from agriculture that he has mentioned, solid mineral. The region is rich in solid minerals, and that's the direction of the world now. It's not even crude oil, and the region has most of the dams, the hydroelectric dams in the country. The region is like a belt around the country. That's the middle of Nigeria. That's the connection between the north and the south. I mean, this is where peace is being baked. I mean, if you're talking of unity between the north and the south, we're talking of the North Central geopolitical zone.
Yeah, and the argument will be that, I mean, when you had two former military heads of state, they never thought of, for example, this kind of development agency that our president from the Southwest has been able to put in place.
Yeah, you see, knowledge, yeah, we thank President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for doing this. But again, you accept that knowledge is incremental. In the era of the military, maybe there was probably, it never occurred to them that something like this should be set up. But I think what is moving us in this direction is the fact that Mr. President has looked back and see that in the days of the First Republic, when we had the 3 regions, there was meaningful development in the country. People looked inward. Resources were generated inward. And then contributions were made to the center. But the military now brought, of course, the single line of this single hierarchy, command and control. And so everybody is now looking up to the federal government for allocation, which is not healthy for this country at all. So we support Mr. President in this move, that people should look inward. There are a lot of resources in each of these regions that if you look inward, you can tap into it, and then you can generate a lot of revenue, and then contribute to the center.
All right.
And then the center will now be left to concentrate on those issues that connect all of us.
All right, I'll ask you to hold on there. We'll go on a short break, and we'll come back. We'll talk more about this. Some people say that President Tinubu is trying to bring regionalism back into Nigeria's politics through the back door. I mean, and I want to hear your views on that. You're still watching This Week, and we'll now go on a short break. When we come back, we'll continue on the controversy trailing President Bola Tinubu's appointments into the North Central Development Commission, and of course the overall essence of these development commissions, and of course what they hope to achieve. Stay with us as we go on a short break. Welcome back from the break. You're still watching This Week, and of course we are still discussing the issues of the controversy over the recent appointment of the board members of the North Central Development Commission, NCDC, and I'm Sumner Sambo. Well, the North Central People's Forum has faulted the composition of the commission, noting that it lacks equal representation from member states. The NCPF, a non-partisan coalition of stakeholders from the 7 states of the North Central Geopolitical Zone, including the FCT, observed the concentration of leadership and institutional power in one axis in the geopolitical zone, stating that such obviously undermines the delicate ethno-political balance that sustains harmony in the North Central region. Meanwhile, a group, All Progressives Congress stakeholders in Niger State, has said the state is not well represented in the board and executive management of the NCDC, just like Plateau and FCTs who have been complaining. In a statement signed by its Secretary General, Dr. Mohammed Santuraki, the group lamented that only one non-executive director and one executive director position was allocated to Niger State. Santuraki said the position of Niger stakeholders is based on the political and electoral support that Niger State gave to the Tinubu administration, and the fact that Niger State considered the siting of the Commission's headquarters to Nasarawa State. We still have with us in the studio the Secretary General of the North Central People's Forum, Bolaji Khalil, and also with us here in the studio is the Chairman of the FCT Stakeholders Assembly, Dr. Daniel Aliyu Baka. Thank you, gentlemen, for all of this. Well, let's come to you, Dr. Baka. I mean, we have your neighbor, Niger State, complaining too that, I mean, they are represented, but of course they want executive appointments. And you are saying that you don't even have any. So, I mean, talk to us about this.
That's very interesting. Well, you know, people always want more, and they have their reasons for demanding for more. But we are the weeping child of the, so to say, weeping child of the North Central. We don't have any at all. We don't have anybody in the executive management. We don't have anybody in the non-executive cadre. So we are saying that the way other states are treated, that FCT should be treated likewise.
Well, they are saying that they contributed in terms of votes more. Could it be that FCT, I mean, you didn't give the APC anything so much, that's why you're being relegated? Because, I mean, well, they are saying they gave the governor, they gave House of Reps, senators, and all of that in terms of political votes to the APC. So the APC can't just push them aside when it comes to federal appointments.
I don't have the figures now, but I can tell you that the FCT is for Mr. President. the fact that we didn't give as many votes as Niger State gave is probably because there are other reasons, and this is one of them. Let me make an analogy. During elections, other residents go back to their states in order to deliver, and we are here to deliver. And so if appointments are given and we are not adequately rewarded, of course people feel aggrieved. And this is it reflects in the number of votes that Mr. President gets. Now I'm APC, and I don't want what happened in 2023 to happen again. If the FCT had delivered as many votes as I wanted, then Mr. President, we wouldn't have gone to the court, up to the Supreme Court, to determine whether Mr. President is qualified to be sworn in. We don't want such a thing to be repeated. And so that's why I'm vehemently saying that this is the beginning, that the FCT people, the natives of the FCT who stay here to vote, should be considered in each of the appointments, that, particularly this one, that is statutory. The Act has assigned slots, the executive directorship and the non-executive directorship, that should be given to an FCT indigene who would help in mobilizing votes in 2027. But you see, somebody sits down somewhere and then takes this position and gives it to another state. Would people from Benue State come to FCT to vote during elections? Certainly not. And so whoever did this is not a friend of Mr. President. We are the friends of Mr. President. Well, we want it to win clearly in 2027, and so we want this thing to be reversed so that it will make it easy for us to mobilize votes in 2027. This is what we are saying. And
he's already given marching orders to Nyesom Wike to ensure that he delivers ahead of
we are fully in support of
the FCT votes.
Yes, our minister, we are with him. And we want to assure Mr. President that we will deliver. But when such things happen, it makes it difficult for us to mobilize as many votes as we would want to.
Okay, and I bring you back, Bolaji Khalil. Let's talk about Niger State here complaining. And they said that they agreed, though grudgingly, for the headquarters of the North Central Development Commission to be shifted to Nasarawa, and they said they are being treated unfairly. How do you react to this?
Well, you see, I'm not from Niger State, unfortunately.
Yeah, but well, you speak for the North Central People's Forum, and it's for the whole...
Well, Santuraki is one of our BOT members. I know him very well, and I know they are not happy. Well, for me, if there is an executive director, non-executive director in each of the states, including FCT, I think that is good enough. Good enough. But just like he's saying now that Benue is having 4, that's not right. Definitely. Now, what I am after, what we are after, we in the North Central Buffalo, is the balancing of the upper and lower North Central. Just like as I've explained before. If chairman is in one place, MD should be in another place, vice versa. Vice versa. Because it will be a turn of lower Niger, lower North Central to produce chairman one of these days. And if they bring MD there as well, they will complain. This is very critical. It's very key to us, you know, in balancing things appropriately. This is how we have been sharing things.
Yeah, man. The complaints have just been increasing because even Plateau states that had the MD given to them, some people are saying that, I mean, they are not so happy with...
well, as I said,
who was appointed.
You know, the state I'm not from,
yeah,
but you see, we just want
some sort of equity,
justice, you know, and fair play in this kind of a thing. We are more particular about that, you know, because if the moment the government is able to correct this, I think it will be good enough. And
Dr. Baka, we actually learned that some of these people who have been appointed will be receiving their letters from Monday, Tuesday. Are you hopeful that anything could be done between now and then for, I mean, maybe these changes? Because some other groups are also commending Mr. President, asking him not to tinker with this set of appointees already. Are you hopeful that anything will happen?
I will advise that they don't rush to issue letters in a situation like this where there's been so much inequity. We are talking of equity. We are talking of justice. We are talking of federal character principles. In a situation where a state is being completely ignored, they should not rush to issue letters. we believe that this thing can be corrected, and it will be corrected before letters are issued.
Okay.
I have something to say this. It had happened in the other zone where the Development Commission was Northwest. It was changed when the government realized that there was imbalance. So I think Southeast as well. So it's not going to be the first. You see, anybody can make mistake, it's only God is perfect.
Yeah, including South, I think, because there was a name that was already being
pushed so
and I was
anybody
surprised when
can
it was
make mistake. When there's a mistake, and the role of the government is to make sure it brings justice and equity. I'm sure it's going to be done by the grace of God, because it's been done elsewhere. In fact, if we are neglected, it will be part of what we are complaining about.
And people will say, so if they do go ahead, what will be the consequence?
Yes.
What will be the consequence if they do decide
Southwest,
to go
they did it. South, they did it. What's wrong after announcing the names? So this one can be done.
And if there's no remedy, what would you be doing?
We keep telling the government they're wrong in this respect.
All right.
We can only mount pressure. And I know that our president is a listening president. He's going to do it. As he said, the president is too busy with so many other things. So some people need to have advised him that, look, sir, this is it.
Yeah, okay, how about federal lawmakers from your areas? Because some of these names were sent to the National Assembly and all of that. Shouldn't federal lawmakers have intervened on your behalf, Aliu Baka?
Yes,
what are your lawmakers actually saying about this?
We are in touch with our lawmakers, and they have made moves to stop it, to correct this, and to amend it. And they will certainly do it, because it's not in their interest to allow this kind of thing to pass through. They are representing us. We elected them, and we have confidence in them. We have been in touch with them, and I believe they are going to do it. Now,
let's move on to the politics of regional development commissions. One major fear that a lot of Nigerians have is that these regional development commissions will end up being like the NCDC, which had been there and it wasn't properly run. And then, of course, you have the issues of corruption and all of that. How would organizations like yours serve as checks and balances to, especially like this one from your region, to ensure that monies are not looted, to ensure that projects get to where they ought to, and those critical priority areas that the president wants, so that at the end of the day, the president himself doesn't regret, bringing these development commissions into place?
Just like I said before, we are going to present a blueprint, a roadmap to assist them. And for instance, most of us in the forum is, we're all represented there, all of the state plus FCT. And I can assure you, even from the names that are out, most of them, we know them very closely, not just. So, and they know about the existence of this forum. Who will advise them? And I know they will consult us as well. It can never be like that one, because, closeness to the person appointed is very important, but each person in the forum that comes from those states, we're going to have a very beautiful interaction after, they must have started their work.
And in the politics of this development commission, let's talk about how people are accusing President Bola Tinubu of returning regional government through the back door. Do you share those sentiments? Because people are saying that this is regionalism through the back door. Why should the federal government be, so much interested in, this key focus? The federal government should focus on much more bigger things and not, putting in place, and that it's been politicized. The key areas that are needed these regional development commissions are maybe the northeast, the south, and maybe like the north central because of ecological issues, that all other ones have been politicized. How do you react to that?
No, I think it's good, in my own opinion, and in the forum's opinion as well, because it will bring development closer to the people, especially if you look at our problem. We have security problem, and the agriculture that has always been. Look at Ajaokuta still, which is in our zone in Kogi. All of this, I believe, will bring development into the regions. But I'm talking specifically now of North Central. So through the back door, I don't believe. I think it's right for Mr. President to think of this. It's a beautiful idea. Because what are we talking about here? Northwest, you have your own. Do your own thing. So if you like, chop your money now. That's your problem. So, and it will be very good because there will be comparison among the zones. Nigerians,
like a sort of regional competition and all of that.
Get it right. So to say how is North-East doing, how is South-South doing, and at the end of Nigerians will bring out a report sheet to say, I think so. If North Central is doing well, they say, look, Southwest, you have to buckle up because you can see what is happening there. So I think it's fine.
Okay,
it's because for development.
And Dr. Baka, I mean, do you share the same sentiment? Because, I mean, like I said, people just say maybe the Southeast, ecological problem, North Central, yes, Northeast, and maybe South, but all other ones, I mean, the idea of having them all around is just being politicized.
But like I said earlier on, each geopolitical zone has resources, has opportunities, has challenges that are unique to those zones. And, you know, there are certain challenges that are better solved when you pull resources together.
But why do we have the ministries, departments, and agencies of government? Because people are saying that there's going to be a potential clash between the functions of the MDAs and these regional development commissions.
Well, you have federal ministries, and they belong to the central government. The central government is so far away. Now, we're talking of a regional arrangement that is closer to the people. And we're saying that when you have this regional arrangement and these states in this region can put their resources together, then it will be better. Even at the international level, you have groups of countries coming together to form blocks. Why do they do that? Because you pull resources together and it's easier, it's more effective in facing and resolving challenges. So Mr. President is absolutely right in doing what he's doing, and we are fully in support of this. Now, if it takes us back to regionalism, so be it, because in the First Republic, like I said, we did very well. The country did very well. The idea of people coming to Abuja at the end, every month with a cup in hand to beg for money, I don't think it's proper for a big nation like this that has a lot of resources everywhere. So it is better that we all go back, look inwards, tap into our resources, generate a lot of revenue, and then we can contribute to the center.
And some of the priority areas that people are counting on these regional developments to do is maybe, like, for example, have a regional transportation roadmap for, you know, creating roads or maybe train services or something like that. Can the states also partner with the federal government's agency, with the Regional Development Commission, in achieving this? Because some states already have separate arrangements apart from that of the federal government. Like, for example, in the Southwest, we have the Development Agenda for Western Nigeria, done, commission, and then you have this Southwest Development Commission. How can they partner together to actually ensure that the states are also not running different systems away from what the regional development commissions are trying to put in place?
Let me take roads. There are hierarchies. You have federal roads, you have state roads, you have, you know. So the federal government will now be concentrated, focused on developing federal roads. The state government is limited in terms of resources. Now, so when they come together, they can pull their resources together to develop roads that link all the states within the region. That is the beauty, that's the advantage of having this kind of regional arrangement. Yes.
All right. I mean,
well, yeah, you see, I expect an effective collaboration between the three: the states, the Development Commission, and the MDAs, because towards the same agenda. For instance, the Development Commission have their own roadmap. They have to interrelate with the state government to see where there won't be any overlapping. And of course, I know by the time they are taken off, there will be synergy between the three.
Well, there has to be, because like, for example, NCDC, state governors have previously been complaining that the NCDC goes to a community and put a borehole there where the same state government already has a borehole, or do roads where the state government, so, you know.
In fact, that's what I expect. I expect a kind of meeting between the three, state, MDAs, and the Development Commission, so that by the time they come out with what their programs, then they will let the state, okay, this one is there already, okay, we'll remove it, we'll not, you know, that's what I expect. Not, you see, they shouldn't be behaving as if each of them is is so independent of each other. Right. Well, you have to be interdependent of each other.
As we try to round off this conversation now, give you a few moments to talk about your own individual states. Let's talk about the FCT. Apart from these complaints that you have raised there, there have always been other issues, and you're thinking that FCT is the orphan of this, other states that we have, 6 states, and then of course, the issues of FCT Civil Service Commission was brought in place to assuage your feelings by Mr. President. He also brought in place a minister, and then of course he's been trying to integrate people. Wouldn't you say that President Tinubu has done well, though there are still complaints like the River Basin Development Agencies that, some of you were not represented there, Public Complaints Commission and all of that. So how do you ensure that there's that balance and, a fine balance, encouraging Mr. President to do more for you and not nagging so much about some of the issues?
No, we are not nagging. We appreciate everything that Mr. President has done. But like I said, knowledge is incremental, and nobody is perfect. Mr. President cannot be everywhere. He entrusts certain aspects of the administration to the hands of some people who may not have that nationalistic approach to issues. Now, the problems of the FCT is we're talking of federal character representation, federal character principle. It's one of the cardinal principles in our constitutional democracy. So when appointments are made and the FCT is excluded, of course, it's against the Constitution, it's against the spirit of the Constitution. And so somebody must speak out. Unfortunately, we are in a society, I call our society where the principle of I pass my neighbor is being operated in our democracy. I pass my neighbor in the sense that I just want to do something to feel that I'm better than you.
Try to puzzle others.
Yeah, try to. Why should Benue State take 4 slots and then leave the FCT with 0 slot? That's the I pass my neighbor syndrome.
Well, and they also argued that the person who was, appointed from Benue State on behalf of FCT is made based on the whims and caprices of Mr. President, because he can choose anybody to put as far as FCT is concerned.
I'm not the argument. Mr. President that I know will not do something like this. Something went wrong somewhere, and I think it should be corrected.
All right, very quickly, Kwara. How happy are you with Kwara's representation on that?
No problem at all. I'm home.
You're home and dry.
Yes, with Kwara.
Okay.
I don't have any
problem. So what are the potential issues, development issues that you think that this regional commission, for example, can solve in Kwara State?
There are lots, because there are so many rural roads and water, and especially on agriculture.
Well, should they be doing that? I'm thinking of mega project, because that's why you have state governors.
No. You see, as I said, the commission is good to settle down. When they settle down, our representative there, there will be stakeholders who will engage them. I'm just one. Others will sit with them, with the 2 of them, and tell them what we need in Kwara and where, so that they will carry this to the commission.
All right,
that's what I expect every other states to do as well.
All right, Umar, thank you so much. Bolaji Khalil is the Secretary General of the North Central People's Forum. And of course, we've also had Dr. Daniel Aliyu Baka, who's the chairman of the FCT Stakeholders Assembly. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us on these crucial issues. And of course, the major focus by Nigerians is how the regional development commissions could actually engage in mega projects that could add more meaning to people and not engaging in construction of roads, boreholes, and all of that. Because people say that's the reason why we have state governments in place, local governments, and all of that. We do hope that the federal funds that will be allocated to these 6 regional development commissions will be such that we'll see difference in all that will be made by the appointees into these executive bodies. We must thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. And that's the much we can take on this edition of This Week. Thanks to our production team here in Abuja, Lagos, and London. We'll join us same time next week for another exciting edition. I'm Somo Sambu.